Hello, my dear Leo. This is your love and spirituality reading for the month of September 2018 with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. We are entering Virgo season, so happy birthday all Virgos out there and all Leos that's still up for their birthday when I'm doing this reading. So I read for the signs in order of most liked video, so don't forget to hit the thumbs up button for your sign. And you have done great, Leo. You are in third place. You had as many likes as Gemini, but you had lesser dislikes, so therefore you came before Gemini. You can see the order I read in this time around at the community section of my channel. So after you comes Gemini and then Virgo and so on. At the community section of my channel, you can also see a wanted post for two clients that I just can't reach. One has the initial EO that is waiting to schedule their 20-minute reading. One has the initials SEV and they have a posted reading waiting for them. Neither can be reached by email. The email just bounces back. So your reading, this reading with Leo, can go both ways. So if I tell you that you are feeling or acting in a certain way, it can be in reverse, that the person you are dealing with is feeling and acting in that way. The energy is the same, it's just different castings to the different roles by the universe. And for this reading, I will use the Druid Craft Tarot by Philip and Stephanie Carr-Gome, illustrated by Will Worthington. And I will start shuffling your cards. So, my dear Leos, here you have a Six of Cups and a Five of Wands. So, Six of Cups is nostalgia. It's the past life and childhood card. It's like you get another chance to get it right. But with the Five of Wands, probably the chance wasn't taken, or you weren't able to get it right. Six of Cups is a card of harmony. Five of Wands is a card of conflict and struggles, combative personalities, rather wants to win than to make things right. So it might have been, this Six of Cups is very full of forgiveness, like we can digest what has been in the past and it doesn't bother us anymore. But here, Five of Wands, it's all fresh out in the open again, the same old, so to speak. Okay, so I call the divine with love and light. And here we have the Four of Pentacles with the Five of Wands. So Four of Pentacles is someone that has quite a deal of appetite for power and control. Okay, it doesn't have to be like a person being almighty. It might be like a person being a little bit petty, a little bit guarded, like want to stay in their comfort zone, not being able to go outside. So Four of Pentacles, we can see here is a person hiding away their stuff. So it's a person wants to keep things for themselves. Might be someone doesn't want to show vulnerability, or they don't want to show their weak spots. It's like a person trying to have like a cool exterior or very high walls. This person is actually in one of the rooms in the tower. You can see this if you compare this with the tower card in this deck. And here we have the Five of Wands. So it seems like power, control, combat, war is things that has been prominent in your energy in this Leo reading. So Four of Pentacles. It's also about stubbornness. It's connected to the Four. It's the Emperor. This is the High Priest. So it's very much the power elite of society, we can say. So it's tedious. Okay, a little bit boring. So I call the Four Archangels in the four corners of the world, and here we see the Princess of Wands with the Five of Wands. So Princess of Wands in this situation, I'm not fully sure how she's like connected to the Five of Wands, but it seems like she's walking here on this road, and here is this combative people acting out, and it's She doesn't seem worried about this conflict that's going on. She looks more like curious, and maybe she has something to offer in this situation. The Page of Wands is kind of your soul. It's also messages, can be clear communication. It's also a want or a need to participate. So it might be that she would like to participate in this. And she doesn't seem frightened that this is like a struggle going on here. She actually seems like she's quite excited by this. Maybe you want to challenge, Leo. Okay, so I call the 6 elements, earth, wind, fire, and we also have the moon here with the 5 of Wands. So the moon and 5 of Wands. The moon is a card about going on the deep end and, you know, challenging yourself by facing your fears. So it might be that some of you have social fears or social anxiety. You might be fearful of bigger groups of people or to walk past them, or you might be fearful of people that is angry or conflicted, and that you are actually challenging this fear. Maybe you have made a hen out of a feather earlier, that you were so afraid of conflict or combative people that you were kept stuck or kept locked in some way. And with the Page of Wands, it might be that you are more you're facing your fears. You're going against the places where you are most likely to to encounter things that you are fearful of, and you do so with curiosity and some kind of problem-solving attitude. It's like you are longing for, you know, sinking your hands into this situation and deal with it, even if you are scared in the same time. And we saw on the Page of Wands posture that she didn't look that scared, but with the Moon card, it's a lot of fear there. So I'm thinking it's a person that's facing their fears, that's going against this, what they might be most scared of. Maybe you are scared of conflict or people being angry with each other, or competition in some sort. Maybe showing your true colors or showing what you are capable of, showing your powers. So it can, for example, be like a person usually doesn't want to participate in, let's say, a cross-country running, for example, because you don't want to make a fool of yourself and come and end up lost. But in this situation, you would actually face your fear and take part of this long distance running or cross country running, and just because you want to expand your comfort zone. You don't want to be locked in by your fears. It might also be other situation where we before have been very scared of authority, for example, and now we are like encountering authority or going close into these things, these kind of groups, and investigating, trying to maybe challenge authority as well. So 6 elements: earth, wind, fire, water, spirit, and ether, to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading for my dear Leo viewers. So I want my dear Leos to have love in their lives and to find themselves in loving relationships. 5 of Wands. Again, what more can we say about this 5 of Wands? 5 of Wands is, it's like when you meet another culture, another you, okay? When you meet a person from another country, or just another person across the street, or trying to get along with the people in your own family. We have so different ways of communicating, understanding things. From our perspective, things can look quite different than what it does from this person's perspective. So it's very hard. Sometimes we can totally misunderstand each other, and it can become a combat or a competition of some sort. But this is so we can learn from each other. The conflict is there, so we can learn to understand each other. Because here comes a person that doesn't understand a certain kind of communication. But if you only use this kind of communication, eventually you will need to be able to understand each other and build a bridge over this gap between the different ways of communicating. So the Five of Wands is connected to the Alchemist card, facing your shadow and integrating it, facing your fears, integrating it. Here we have the Four of Pentacles as well, the Sun and the Ace of Wands. So this is very much Leo cards, and these are also the highest card for energy in the whole deck. So it might be that you are dealing with places inside of yourself where you have locked in maybe your combative personality, or you need to start to see your big shadow that is a combative personality, because even if you are very scared of conflict, we might ourselves be people that is very easily drawn into conflict. It's usually this. What we are fearing the most is also what we end up creating in our lives. So it's different messages for different Leos, but it definitely seems like it's going to be something fruitful out of this situation. And I'm feeling that you might come out much stronger from this situation than you were before, and also much more enlightened, like you know yourself better or can see yourself and other people as well in a new light. So I also want Leos to have creative success and to be able to walk on your highest path towards your highest destiny. So the Sun, the Ace of Wands, it's very powerful, can be also very aggressive, but I didn't feel so much aggression. It's more like pettiness or problem communicating. But of course this can make us very angry if that goes on for quite some time. The communication might totally break down, and there comes anger and bitterness instead. But I didn't quite see that. I more saw this curiosity in front of conflict and combat and competition. Okay, so I'll just tune in to you, Leo, and this time of September for a few seconds. It actually, these cards that came forward, it actually reminded me of, I got this gift from my daughter the other day, yesterday actually, because it was my birthday. I'm a Leo too, and it's blue striped agate. I don't know if it's named this agate in English, but it's a blue stone anyway, and it's against it taking forward like playfulness, like with the Page of Wands, but it's also against stubbornness, stress, and arguments. So it's very suiting to this reading, I think. Okay, so my dear Leos, this is your future there, and this is your now there, and this is your past. So in the past we have a Three of Cups. So Three of Cups, it kind of suggests that you are in a situation where you're working together with other spirits or other souls, together as a soul group. It might be that you are having very close connection with certain people, particularly through dreams. So you might be working spiritually together with friends and family through dreams. For example, but it's very friendly card. So even if you have like combats or disagreements in any kind of relationships, it's still like the work that you do is coming out of a glue that's love. So even in your worst enemy in this lifetime has probably come to earth to help you grow as the spirit. So it's a lot of love here. It's like overflowing love that you can only share with few people. It's not all people that you can feel like having a nice time just sitting at the beach staring out on the ocean. But some people, you don't want to see a beautiful sunset without them being there or you being able to share it with them. because that kind of experience becomes even larger when you are together with people that you actually truly care about. So it's very beautiful card, showing very beautiful emotions that you can share only with few people that truly understands you. And this is in the now, so that's the past. It's summer kind of, and this is September. And here we have a 7 of Cups. So 7 of Cups is a little bit more lonely energy. It's some kind of challenge that you need to face on your own, and it's an emotional challenge. So when we are together with people, even people we love, it always rises different difficult situation where we might feel unjustly treated or disregarded or not loved enough or whatever is going on here. And here is you struggling with these kind of things and trying to figure things out and what's the best course forward. It's a 7, so it's always a spiritual challenge that wants you to evolve. So it's a challenge that's kind of rubbing you the wrong way, but making you more educated when it comes to yourself and your emotions. 7 of Cups is like returning to the primordial swamp. You had the 6 of Cups in the beginning, so that's a new chance. But the 7 of Cups is when that new chance wasn't taken, or things went in the same old way that they have always done, and you are back at square one, feeling the same feelings that you're always trying to run away from. But you're not supposed to run away from them. You are supposed to figure things out here emotionally and thereby grow. Okay. So it's a reason to the repetition, like why certain challenges is repeating again and again. And this is the reason. So you will feel back to square one and deal with it instead of running away. So then this combative personality can be a good thing because it wants to solve problems. So it's going to the lion's den. And so it might be someone coming to the lion's den. We'll see. Yeah, the 10 of Wands wants to show his face here also. Someone struggling very hard, sometimes with themselves because it's something they want to say or something they want to do, but they can't because of rules or like they're preventing their own natural reaction. It might also be a person over-functioning, doing everything for everyone else. But the 7 of Cups is minor arcana, kind of moon card. So it's those kind of very tricky emotions. You don't know really where they are coming from because it's like memories from days that you don't even remember. You can get utterly sad by something, and if you meditate on it, you will find out that what you're really sad about is that someone stole one of your toys in the playground like some 30 years ago, but you never digested those feelings, so they are still there haunting you. But when you have digested it, then you can move on, so you don't have to be captivated by these kind of feelings. But they are not bad per se. It's like warning systems or educational systems. They want to teach you something. If you were emotionless or didn't feel anything, you wouldn't learn by being here on earth. So the feelings are important, and when we try to skip them and move ahead and ignore them, we also ignore the teaching and the wisdom that lies within. But it seems like Leo is up for the challenge, okay, with the cards that came in the beginning. So facing this instead of running away from it. And we also saw a 9 of Wands peeking its little face behind there. And here you have 9 of Pentacles. So 9 of Wands is a situation where you kind of build walls against other people. Here is still a wall, but it's not so much that you're building walls, you're having boundaries, but you're taking better care of yourself. Instead of going around being bitter, oh, that person hurt me and this person was so cruel and that was situation, they were so mean to me. You instead take better care of yourself. In the future, I'm not going to let someone steal my stuff. I'm going to tell them that that's wrong and I'm going to take it back. So self-love, boundaries, more healthy, instead of becoming bitter and angry and, have a lot of resentment. Okay, so here is your past, and we have a Princess of Cups. So it's very beautiful card about a person having very pure intentions, maybe coming with a gift to you, or you coming with a gift of open-hearted love, or some very pure emotions, like showing vulnerability when we open up to someone. Sometimes it can be proven to be a mistake because we open up to someone that's not receptive to what we are showing them. If we are finding a new friend, for example, and we tell them something we haven't told anyone, and they just laugh at your face, then you will regret for that you opened up. But that's not really the problem. The problem is that we become so cold and so bitter when we have been wounded or exploited, that we are not able to open up again. And if we are not able to open up again, we will live our lives in that square, in the tower, the 4 of coins kind of thing. But if we are ready to be vulnerable yet again, but still being able to have healthy boundaries and love ourselves, then we are kind of onto something. So someone showing vulnerability and authenticity and pure emotions here, pure intentions. And it's an 8 of Pentacles. So 8 of Pentacles is this kind of repetitive situations where the same kind of school situation arises again and again. A situation where you need to learn something. So it seems like what you need to learn is about love and vulnerability, and maybe working together with other people in relationships, even if we are so different and have so different ways of communicating and showing our love or showing our friendliness. I'm not saying this so that you will be more understanding to abuse, okay? So that you will, this is his way to show that he loves me, so he gave me a black eye because he's so jealous, but it's because he can't handle how much he loves me. Okay, that's stupid. So I don't mean that kind of thing. I don't mean that you should disregard when you have been feeling badly treated. I'm just saying that there's so many ways to communicate and we can easily misunderstand each other. And I'm not saying that you are supposed to become more understanding, but maybe you need to see that sometimes we need to repeat a situation over and over and over and over again, because everyone learns a little bit each time, and eventually it will go smoother. Okay, you don't have to accept abuse or someone, disregarding your vulnerability. So it's not what I'm saying. These 2 cards together is very beautiful. It's showing a person being very vulnerable and also a person that wants to fix it. They want to fix it. They want to have another chance. They want to have another go. You feel up for trying once more. You have hope, you see visions of how this could be made even better, like you have visions for how to manufacture those stars to perfection. So it's a beautiful willingness and beautiful vulnerability, really giving the situation a true and honest chance is what I'm seeing. So it's very good. Okay, it's like giving up your will for a better cause. So beautiful, actually, very harmonious. And the next card here is the Magician. So it's showing even more skill. So here it comes a little bit edge on this. This was very, like, I'm very vulnerable. I give up my will to the divine. But here is also resourcefulness. And like, I have my own will and I'm using my will. I'm bending my will. And it's also about communication, because the Magician is tied to Mercury. So I'm thinking this was in your foundation here in the past, showing beautiful vulnerability, wanting to make a good work, doing the best you can, also sacrificing yourself for greater good. But here comes the little bit of an edge where you have self-esteem and you know how to bend your words, and you know what's truth and what's a lie, and it's like here comes this is very subordinate, but this isn't. So I'm thinking you had this kind of vulnerability and this willingness, but in the same time you were nobody's victim. Okay, the Magician is nobody's victim. They are resourceful. They see where things are going. They are changing the plan, adapting, seeing the vision. So it's like if you are manufacturing this and you see that, oh no, the temperature is too high, you will be able to fix it and be on on the top of that. So it's kind of very much resourcefulness. So you had a great resourcefulness in this situation. You were not just like obedient little vulnerable creature that gave up your heart so someone could do whatever with it. It's actually that you also had a plan, a vision, maybe a scheme even. It's like having a clear, not just being a victim, but having resources to change the plan as we go, being attentive, being a master of this situation. So it's like you have learned something. I can't really get exactly to explain the feeling that I'm feeling, but if you can imagine someone being very vulnerable and willing, but in the same time take no crap, it's kind of that kind of feeling I'm having with these 3 cards, because the magician is a master of their own life. They are not being ruled by anyone because they are so resourceful. And here we have the 3 of Cups. So I'm thinking you want to participate in this, the 3 of Cups, also maybe the 5 of Wands, like a situation that you know are both rewarding and challenging, but you are doing so not fully sacrificing all of you for, you know, just any cause. You are also taking a bit care of you and trusting your own resourcefulness and your own creative ability. So it's not total submission. And here we have the Now, and we have the Lady. So Princess of Cups together with the Lady. It's very fertile. It's like a little child inside their mother's womb. So something wants to be born here. I'm not sure exactly what, but the magician is kind of the ignition, like the semen, and this is the earth, and this is the product. So it's something going on with you that's very creative and it's very luscious. It feels like you are about to bring something totally new to the world. I'm thinking about Horus, actually, the son of Isis, the all-seeing god, the Eye of Horus. So it's very vulnerable child, but with this all-seeing eye. So I'm thinking you are getting much more wisdom here, Leo. You're just not, you're no sacrificial lamb anymore. You're getting into your Leo power as well, but in the same time having this connection with the lady. The lady is life force. It's like what sustains us. Without this life force, the planet would just be another rock in the universe, dead. But it's not, because we have the miracle of life on it. So it's like you're playing with this creative force, submitting yourself to the process, but also guiding it in some way. It's almost like a scientist playing with DNA. Okay. And here we have a Queen of Pentacles. So it's very luscious. This is like cousins, both of Earth, and this is Taurus, and this is kind of Virgo, but it can be a Taurus as well. You also have the Taurus symbol there on the throne, and the rabbit there showing the vulnerability of the Princess of Cups. So here in this situation, you are quite young and like a student, but then you become the teacher or the master, and suddenly you are the work material, kind of the nature, the life itself. So it's like you have all the elements at your table to create something very beautiful, and it's coming from you. It's coming from your own body, from your own creative skills, from your own unconditional love, from your own resilience, because this is also very resilient. When you chop off like grass, for example, or flowers, they will come up again as long as there's warmth and rain. So as long as the outside condition is okay, there will come new life and new life and new life. Doesn't matter how much you cut it down, it comes up again until a certain extent, of course. If we have ruined the soil or ruined the air or ruined the water, polluting it, so it won't be able to come up again, or there's no more seeds because we have devastated the lands. But here it's not like that. It's this growing life force. So it's like you rejuvenate yourself, or it's so new here. It's like a new upgrade of some sort. So I will have to tune into this a little bit. It's like this new willingness is coming, and the resourcefulness. And here you're really building something, and it's something that you haven't seen before. It's not something that you haven't done before, because you're using new skills to build this. So both of these cards, for a male, it would talk about the one and a wife. It can be talking about the feminine aspect, like Mother Mary, Isis, that gave birth to Horus and other female deities throughout history. We can see in Egyptian and Greek religion, for example, the female deities being responsible for inventing armor, for example, inventing sail, inventing the plow, inventing bread. So feminine has been very sparkling of ideas, and it's like this what I'm seeing. You are facing adversary, you are facing some kind of opposition with the Five of Wands that we saw, but it's like it's just giving you new ideas. It's just giving you new tools. So it's really not that much of a problem for you. It's just giving you more material to create with. It's giving you more information to become a better creator. So if you don't like your current life situation, this is making you very smart to create a better life situation for yourself. So it looks very luscious. And here we have the Tower. And the Tower is the situation with the Four of Pentacles that we saw. The person living in a square in the Tower, and kind of is an egocentric energy where a person or a group is trying to have certain powers over other people to themselves feel secure, being above, like sitting on your high horses, for example. And here comes God, divine forces, and blowing this off the map. And this Magician is, of course, very selfish and egocentric kind of energy. It's a me power. It's like when you are above 3 years old and have found out that you are actually separated from other people, and that you have an own me. I can tie my own shoes. I can do this. I can do that. And here we have the Tower. So immediately after this one, you realize that you're not a part of everything, like a part of nature. You are actually your own, like a child finding out that they are not their mother. They are actually their own person. And immediately the Tower explodes. So the Tower in this situation feels very fertile. It's something old that has been preventing you from growing, that's being dealt with here. For some reason, I'm thinking about a line from a movie I watched. I don't remember the exact, like what they said word by word, but they were talking about this. It's this, that sometimes you need to look at a situation, like really look at a situation one time, and then maybe again, but for days, so that you really see the situation. You can't really see it when you are, you're just going and you're going forward to this thing here, those things here at the table, and you're taking a first look at it, and you see, oh, it's a sword there, and it's a pentacles, and this is a chalice, and here I have 2 wands actually, and it's so obvious because you have named it once, so you already know what it is. You don't look at it. But if you would stay here and look at these things for days, you would find out more things. So it's like this is what you're doing, and it's some kind of eureka moment. But in the same time, it's also a loss of power. Because sometimes we thought that we knew something and we were so sure that this was what was right. But here the Tower comes and the insight comes, and you might have this moment where you understand that everything you have learned up till now was bollocks, or you didn't understand a thing, and suddenly you understand how little you're actually comprehending, and that, my friends, are true wisdom. When you can realize how much it is left to learn, then you have really opened and expanded your mind. So something fertile is going on here, but it's still some kind of conflict, still some kind of surprise that's going on here. It might be like different forces here also. This is very stable and earth-like, and this is much more, it's like more masculine energy. It doesn't have to be a male, it might be a feminine with like the divine masculine being in action here. Like a person coming in, for example, with communication that might be very surprising, like surprise communication that you didn't expect, and that's kind of shaking your world around. It might be finding out that maybe getting an offer of some sort, like a job offer that means that you need to travel the world or totally relocate, or it might be someone communicating about something that like from the past. For example, we had the Six of Cups in the beginning with the Five of Wands. So something like an element of surprise, but also of roughness. It's like it's male in shape, and it's very it wants you to yield in some way. But I'm thinking maybe you won't here. But the Seven of Cups will rise up. It's like you've built a very strong foundation for yourself, and it comes through something, a Mercury and flashes. It feels very communicative, and it's like energy or electricity, Horus eye, something like this. It's something happening here that's a little bit out of worldly. It doesn't have to be, it can be just a phone call, but it's throwing you back, like making you fall into the primordial swamp again. So you are not going to like it. The divine is going to probably clap their hands and say, oh, amazingly, we made it. Now they are in this difficult situation and they need to solve it. Eureka, wonderful. And maybe you won't share their enthusiasm because you will be back in some unresolved feelings that is still there, making your life a little bit troublesome because you can't control these feelings. They are some kind of old wound, which you have tried to avoid by maybe being very suggestively, very vulnerable, willing, maybe very friendly, avoiding conflict, being nice, always being at service, showing a lot of love, overwhelming love. And that might have been the way that you have created a good life for yourself, but there's something more wants to come in here. Something wants to be born that's not inside your comfort zone. Okay, so this is your future. And here we have a King of Pentacles. So we have a King of Pentacles and a Queen of Pentacles. This is usually talking like a married couple. But then the Magician is there. It's not really marrying type. He's more the one, sowing his oath and never like really growing up. He has gray hair here, but he's still probably singles person. But this is definitely like a married couple. This is a wife and a husband. King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is the father figure. We have the mother figure in both these cards, and also a child here. So I'm thinking with the Six of Cups in this family constellation that we are talking about something that might have happened or gone down in your family at some point, probably when you were at a very young age. And this is something that you now need to deal with, to heal the past, to heal the inner child, and to maybe forgive parents and people taking care of you when you were young or didn't do like a proper job in your eyes. Forgiving them and moving on might give you a tremendous healing. But sometimes this is very difficult because it might mean that you need to reopen to get wounded again. For example, we have many people being unable to deal with their original family because they have decided, I don't want to be treated in this way again, or they can't go back to an old friend because they don't want to be treated like this again, or to an old lover or whatever, because they don't want to be treated like this again, or they don't want to encounter a certain group. It might be males. I'm never going to date a woman again because they always hurt me like this. So here is almost like you need to go into this situation because it holds some kind of energy, like very fruitful energy that will free you in some way or give you this eureka moment. And to get there, you need to open up for the possibility to be wounded in the same way that you have been before. So, for example, if you have said, I will never speak to my father again, he's such a horrible person, and I stopped talking with him like somewhere in 1989, and now you need to revisit him on the elderly home and, deal with that energy of him maybe telling you the same thing that once made you shut the door in his face. And why you need to do this is there's some kind of wisdom hidden there that you still need, and you still need to get the knowledge out of. And there's sometimes like this that we are gladly going into a situation where we are hurting. Okay, we might feel very drawn to a certain person that is not good for us. We can see this. There's certain magnetic people that's like very smart, but in the same time very rude to their surrounding, and they become like emperors in our eyes. And we get this feeling of we want to be nice towards them and get them to like us. So why is that? We need to check inside of us. Why is that? Imagine this person telling you, you are saying to them, like, I don't like your behavior. You are doing this and this and that and that. And so they say, okay, you don't like my behavior. Why are you coming back around again and again and again and wants more of the same? So it's like a little bit what I see. You're not masochist. You don't like pain. It's you want the knowledge out of the situation. That's why you're returning to this. And it's not like a bad situation per se. It's just some kind of edge to it. Some people that are in conflict to you, maybe to no fault of their own. Maybe you are oversensitive, or you can't take a certain kind of comments, or you are it's very problematic for you to be with people that wants to like tell you what to do. So it can be big problems with your own personality that's making you unable to visit your father on the elderly home, for example. It doesn't have to be like their fault. So it's usually that life is full of people that is so rude and so cruel, and it's so strange that every other person is so difficult to deal with except you. And I have this same problem or the same notion that I think that, oh, why are these people so rude? I'm so nice. And I understand by logic and reason that this is not the case. Of course, I am as problematic as the next person, and the next person is as problematic as me. But we see things from our own end, and that's making us see only one side of the conflict. And I'm thinking this is the kind of this might be the kind of wisdom that you are going to get out of this situation, like a greater understanding, the Eye of Horus, okay? Something new. You haven't seen it before. And here comes a Princess of Pentacles. Some of you are definitely dealing with earth signs. Here we have Earth, 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 Earth. Taurus, this is usually a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And here we have Earth, Earth. Princess of Pentacles is Earth from Earth. Eight of Pentacles is, I'm thinking, Virgo as well. So Princess of Pentacles is talking about who you were when you came, the seed that you were when you came. So you're not supposed to, disalign from that and think that, oh, I'm bad because I'm overreacting to these kind of things. No. You're just also supposed to learn the seed that are someone else, maybe. Be able to see them too. Not to make excuses for them, but to see that they are another you. It's like you are depersonalizing your stories, like the stories that you have told yourself over and over. You might be depersonalizing them. They are not important anymore. The important is the actual meeting with that person. For example, as I said, washing things for days, one thing for days, and therefore getting to know their real essence. This might be to get to know the real person behind the mask, like the real person. You haven't seen your father, say for 20 or 30 years, but you haven't really seen your father since you were maybe 5 years old, because the rest of the time you just saw the projection. The Seven of Cups is projection. You never saw your father again, like the soul behind the mask. You just saw the mask or your perception of this person. Like we say that the first encounter is so important, and it's because we are projecting. So if the first encounter wasn't good, we will judge that person and we put an image of them, like a label on them, and after that, that is what they are. But they are not, because if we would stay and watch them for days, if they were able to, you could watch them and just stay with them for days, not talking, just watching, being in the now, you would eventually be able to see the essence of that person. They will start to vibrate in another way. You will see more vivid colors. You would get telepathic communication, just feel the vibration of them, because you would be there and then without the painting, without the glasses, your projections. So I'm thinking it's something here. It feels it's vulnerable. So it's like you are out on very thin ice when you are trying to investigate this, but it has great advantages. Like you can really win yourself here, and, win important relationships also. Because if you can heal your old relationships with old people, you're actually not just putting the label on your father when you were 5 years old when he was doing something. You are putting the same label on all men that you're meeting from then on. They will have the same label until they are proving you otherwise. And this could be a way for you to free yourself from these presumptions and make you see the real people. And that is some kind of alchemic wedding going on with that, like a spiritual wedding for you. It's probably, since it's the Magician here, on a 5D level, this would be a marriage with yourself, inside yourself. On a third dimensional level, this could be a marriage with a person that is in some way a little bit unavailable, or not really marriage material, on a like a materialized level. It might be a family and a child being born, and that is changing the life. So it's never back to what you have seen before, because the family constellation is changing. So in that case, it would have been a child already, and then it comes a second child, for example, and that can build a lot of family dynamics. If you were the first child and there's coming a second child, you will have the big sister or big brother label on you also for the rest of your life. So it's a lot of things going on here, but it's not bad things. It's just like you are investigating and making a family tree of your past, so you will be able to free each and every one of them from your labeling of them and from your labeling of yourself, so you can free and kind of lift like a helium balloon. And for some of you will get married and have children as well, and that will be like a flash from like nowhere. It came from nowhere. Suddenly someone decided like, well, I love you forever, and I have really found out that I can't live without you, and I really want this to work. So here I come, making you my wife, or you're my husband, and this is coming like a flash from nowhere, and suddenly something new is born here. It might be an engagement with the Prince of Pentacles, or buying something new, or investing in something new, taking a new step towards something. And here we have also Three of Wands. So this might be in total alignment with what it is that you have wished for all along. The Three of Wands is like finally your ship comes in, and it's the ship that you wanted. So it's a situation where your dreams fulfilled, and it's a 3, so it's also connected to the lady here. And we have the Nine of Pentacles. So I'm thinking the person that will have come to terms with loving themselves and healing family issues will be greatly rewarded with the things of their dreams. It doesn't have to be a marriage situation with these two. It can be a very fertile economic situation, like a company, very luscious company here, maybe being ruled by you, and getting like some new project starting, and it will just hit off and, you know, be wonderful or marvelous and exactly what you wanted. So it might be different situation on some. It's love and spirituality reading, so it will be in relationships. It doesn't have to be married with a partner. It might be like finally getting some glue back into a family situation. And but this is a little bit more singles energy, these two. It's very much like you get your will through. And if you get your will through, is there someone else that needs to compromise overly much? Because the Three of Wands isn't much for compromising. So sometimes it can be a situation where we need to understand also that when our dreams comes true, for example, if you find your partner of your dreams, it might mean that another person is losing that partner. So it's also this to remember sometimes when we are asking for much, that modesty, okay. But the Queen of Pentacles, she's modest enough. She both gives and receives in beautiful balance. So I will read a little bit about her for you. The beautiful Queen of Pentacles. And she has kind of a halo around her head, as do this Christmas Santa Claus Capricorn person here. So it's like the crown of Jesus on their heads, the thorns. The Queen of Pentacles is at one with the spirit of the land and with being fully embodied in the world. She represents the magic of home and heart, trusting her instincts and life itself, and is practical and generous. Often a warm host and excellent cook, she enjoys every aspect of homemaking and loves having children and animals around her. The Queen of Pentacles will usually be pragmatic and well organized, handling finances successfully, a loyal and sensual lover. They will be a good friend too, always offering a sympathetic ear, common sense advice, and practical help. It may indicate that the need to care for your body, your finances and possessions, or your land or property. Drawing this card in a reading may point to your relationship with the land and the earth, and surrounding cards may suggest how to develop this. Alternatively, it may suggest you need to treat yourself to some sensual pleasures. So it feels very rewarding for you to have this kind of situation here. I'm thinking first, I think you have to understand the contradiction between, being with people. If you are alone like this, you have not so much problems. Being with people will always cause conflict, but it's also utterly, utterly rewarding. So sometimes we need to understand that if we want to live fully, like not frozen, like imagine flowers underneath the cover of winter snow. When sun comes, like when love from other people comes, much like the Three of Cups here, it will make the flower to grow, but it will also make it more conflicted. Underneath the snow, it was safe there. Nothing really happened. But when the summer comes, maybe an animal will graze it, or someone will pluck it, or there will come a lawnmower and cut it off. So we are more vulnerable when we are in social situation, but it's also more rewarding. So it looks a little bit like Leo is coming to life and actually, becoming more a social creature, but still being very thorough with having. It still needs to be a little bit like you want it. So it's like you're taking your comfort zone with you into this situation. And that might work. And it must work, because we need to not compromise ourselves for the sake of being with other people. But we also need to compromise ourselves for the sake of being with other people. So there's a balance there. And someone said that for a woman, for example, you have two choices, either to be loved or to be yourself and to communicate yourself as you fully are, like a strong individual person. And it's kind of the same when any person are in a relationship, that when you are alone, you can be your unique self, and no one will, try to change you because you are this flower underneath the snow. But when you are the blossom flower together with other flowers, and you need to, work your way with them, they are going to have demands on you. So if you can't take that, maybe you need to stay underneath the ice and snow. The urge to create is the same within you as it is for the universal creator. Actually, Cancer got the same card. It also has the same magical, we have the magician there, and this is creation, and this is like the seed of creation. It also has the same magical ability to draw harmony into being and to find beautiful order in chaos. So being in chaotic relationship and still finding out that this is beauty, this is what I want, now I'm feeling alive. This includes bringing harmony and the perfect balance of well-being into your body, mind, and emotions. This is also the part of you that wants to dream of beauty and bring it into life in as many ways as possible. In how you eat, dress, look, behave, make love, create art, relate to your community, write your poetry by moonlight or bathe by candlelight. If you have come to believe that your love of beauty is superficial rather than a genuine expression of your heart's appreciation of symmetry, harmony, and grace, then you may block your ability to create harmony in your life. You may believe it is to be unworthy goal, yet beauty, genuine beauty, rather than superficial glamour, flows from within. It is an expression of radiance within the heart and love of life. And this is what you will be able to connect to if you really see a thing, like if you watch it for a very, very long time and really see the person behind, look them in the eye and ask them question. Like if you would buy a new pet, maybe you would read everything about them, and you will learn to understand them. And since they have no language, you will have to learn to communicate with them in a way that both of you can understand. But when it comes to people, we kind of take them for granted. We don't study a lot of literature to understand our mother or father or siblings or lover. Okay, lover, it's a lot of literature being studied there. But I'm thinking we should be more interested in the people around us, ask them more questions. Like, don't take them for granted that you have figured them out. You haven't. Really investigate what kind of people you are dealing with. What are their dreams? What are they made of? Find life behind the image that you have of them. It is an expression of radiance within the heart and the love of life. If you have struggled with obsessive attitude towards beauty that tends to prevail in human culture, then it's time you look to nature instead. Her beauty is boundless, quirky, and endlessly diverse. If you feel blocked, thwarted, or contaminated by others in your quest to bring your beautiful dreams to life, you may feel that your heart is dulled, minimized, or shut down. Small-mindedness can limit beauty to a very narrow physical sense. However, you can shun the social disease of superficial, narrow definition of beauty. Thumb your nose at airbrushed image and dare to love what is. Honoring nature is one example. Give yourself permission to feel and be beautiful in many ways. You can feel harmony outside of what is supposed to be harmonious. If you are brave and wild enough, you can even find beauty and harmony amongst the chaos of change. Sensing that change is just the creative process kicking into gear, realizing there is nothing to fear, brings even greater beauty, harmony, surrender, and grace to the experience of life creating itself in more stunning forms through you. You are meant to dream of beauty and create beauty in its far more holistic and creative definition. Beauty is meant to soothe the soul, inspire thoughts of love, devotion, and appreciation. To balance the nervous system. These are healing effects, healing for the creator and those that receive it. They are worthwhile. They are not meaningless, impractical, flippant, or trivial. A world without the beauty of art in all its various and unique interpretation would be a less colorful, less vibrant, less cheeky, and less healing place to be. Time that you spend dreaming of beauty and allowing it to be born through you in various heart-centered ways is worthwhile. Don't disregard it, or discount it. The most beautiful dreams can inspire the practical, hard-working dedication required to bring them to life for the betterment of the world. So I don't know exactly what it is that you are supposed to do here, Leo, but it seems that it's like you're dreaming a new life into being. And it's much like what Isis brought to life through Horus. So it's something new, okay? So I can't really describe it for you. You need to invent it for yourself through your magical, creative inspiration. And through this child, it's your life mission. And it's 2 children in this reading. So it might be talking about a twin flame relationship as well. We don't have the Emperor in this reading, but we have the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. The lady is there. Lady and the Lord is the Emperor and the Empress in this reading. 3 of Wands, Magician and 3 of Wands. So start to dream. And, you know, dream big. Because whatever you want, universe wants it too. So you are going to get it. I'm sure of it. Okay, so thank you, my dear Leo, for watching this far. And thank you also for all of you watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting to my videos. I also want to invite you back to my mid-month September reading that I will perform in the beginning of September. So take really good care, and bye-bye.